22 arc bolt guns are a ton of fun. In this video, we're going to do a from scratch bolt gun with a Pristine action. Hey guys, Gavin here from ultimatereloader.com. The last time we put together a rifle with Pristine's standard short action, it was a lightweight 6GT. This rifle absolutely hammered. What I wanted to do in this video was flip the script on the lightweight hunting rifle, take the same 6-lug Pristine short action rifle action and build it up with a heavy contour, stainless steel barrel, and a foundation stock. This is going to be something in a completely different recoil domain. We're talking about heavy, light recoiling, really fun 22 arc action. Let me go over the components that we have. So we have Pristine's standard 6-lug short action. Just for a review, we've built on Pristine's standard short action, the 6-lug variety. We've done a short action Magnum with the 300 WSM build. That's a very similar action, but with a 2-lug design. And we've also done a long action. That was with the 308 bolt face that we swapped out to do 280 AI. So this time we're using the action with the 308 bolt face, but I've already swapped out for the 6.5 Grendel 7.62x39 in arc bolt face. So that part is done. And for the rest of the build components, we've got a Bix & Andy Tac Sport Pro X trigger. We've been using Bix & Andy more and more. In fact, we have a complete shootout of the Bix & Andy triggers at Bullet Central. You're going to want to check that out. There's some very unique features with their ball trigger design. It uses ball bearings internally. They've got adjustable sear engagement, adjustable trigger pull, really high precision stuff, and we love the way they work. Okay, we've got Hawkins Precision M5 DBM bottom metal. I'm using the same 22 arc reamer that I did on my last similar build. So we've got Manson reamer. We have the rougher and the finisher. We're just going to use the finisher because that's the way that our process works. And then we've got 6.5 Grendel go and no-go gauges from Manson as well. Those are going to be compatible with the 22 arc. Here I have a Ballistic Advantage 1-in-7 barrel with a heavy contour. This thing is an absolute lunker. It's going to be totally perfect. And then we've got Foundation Centurion with a full-length Arca rail. It's got the M5 bottom metal cut that's going to work great with the Hawkins Precision DBM bottom metal. And I've also done a bunch of research. So I'm going to reuse the simplified tenon print that I published with our 6GT build. I've got the 22 arc SAMI document here. We start with those two things. And I've also created a worksheet for the chambering process. So without further ado, I'm going to go get started on that. Well, the build is done. Check this thing out. I absolutely love this rifle. This thing is so fun. A 22 arc bolt gun is a really great choice when you want to have light recoiling, great, long range ballistic performing 22 caliber awesomeness in a bolt gun. There are some considerations obviously around bolt face and around magazine feeding, but this thing is running awesome. And if you pay attention to the details, I think a 22 arc bolt gun is going to be something that you're going to really enjoy. Okay, so for the rifle build on this one, I'm again using a lathe you've seen here on the channel a lot lately, which is the Precision Matthews PM1440 HVT2. This thing has variable speed. It's heavier than most other 1440 lathes. It's really rigid. It is an absolute piece of tool room awesomeness. And I found it to be really, really nice to work with for the style of chambering that I do. So we started on the breech end, and here I'm using, this is a simplified diagram I made from the resources that are available on Pristine's website. And so I started with a headspace measurement, made a slight offset on the headspace, went through my complete worksheet, which guides me through the process step by step and makes sure that all of the math is correct. So this is 1 1/16 by 20, right? A lot of custom actions are 1 1/16 by 18. Remington 700 is 1/16 by 16, so this is a little finer thread and really easy to put together. There's no need to cut a counterbore, which just saves time. I believe that the counterbore is not necessary. So the barrel was installed in the lathe. It was dialed in within a 0.5 thousandth, pre-drilled the chamber area, went in with a 1/10,000th indicator, got things running within 1/10,000th, bored that area true, turned the tenon, turned the thread relief, threaded the tenon, and then at that point, it's time to cut the chamber. And this is where I slow down and I pay attention. I take things absolutely step by step. I take incremental cuts, check for run out, and I'm using a rigid reamer holder. That was a trick that Bruce Tom taught me, and just checking every step of the way to make sure that everything is perfect. And the good news about 22 arc is there's not nearly as much chamber to cut. So it goes really quickly compared to a long action, like say a 280 AI, for example, where it just feels like you're just plunging forever. Of course, that pales in comparison to an ELR rifle, right? I've built 375 Chi-Tac and 50 BMG here on the channel. But yeah, it's really all relative. And the most important thing when you're chambering a rifle is that you pay attention to all of the details. And you understand what the key factors and considerations are. Here, headspace landed great, checked it on the lathe, took the barrel out. I did my standard, 5/8 by 24 threaded muzzle routine on the muzzle end. That was after cutting a couple inches off of the barrel blank. And then it was time to Cerakote the barrel. So here I did 100 grit aluminum oxide blasting, mixed up some graphite black, sprayed 3 coats. We put it in our Built American oven. By the way, if you're interested in Cerakoting, UR5 code saves you 5% on all of Built American's equipment. Really great additional deal if you're wanting really, really good equipment there. So I let it cure for 2 hours at 250 degrees Fahrenheit, took it out the next morning, and everything went together absolutely fabulous. Got the barrel torqued down to the action, double checked my headspace, and then brought it over to the laser to engrave the barrel details. I wish factory rifle makers would do that. Length of the barrel, twist of the barrel, chambering, right? You'll have chambering on there, but if anyone that's looking at specific SKUs of ammo, or definitely people that hand load, need that twist rate on there. This one happens to be 1 in 7. If you're gonna go with the 22 arc, you're gonna wanna be generally in that region of 1 in 7, possibly 1 in 7.5. And people go with different options. It really depends on what bullets you want to run at the end of the day. If you're going to run lighter bullets, you could take that twist rate down a little bit and make it longer. If you want to spin up really heavy bullets, they're not going to be going quite as fast and they need more RPM to stabilize, so then you're going to want to go with a faster twist rate. 1 in 7, hard to go wrong with 22 arc, I would say. So, at this point, I install the trigger, put it in the Foundation Centurion, put everything together. It's time to head up to the range. Okay, so we started, as we always do, at 100 yards with the center fire rifle like this. And it didn't take long to get on paper, and I was glad to see the first 3-shot group, or here we're using Hornady 88 ELDM factory match ammo. First 3 rounds on paper went into .479. I did some more shooting with both Hornady's 88 grain ELDM ammo and their 75 grain ELDM ammo, and I wasn't quite happy with the 5-shot groups. They were a bit bigger than that. So I thought, you know what? I've had these Sierra 77 grain SMKs on the shelf and I've been dying to use them. So I took some of the previously fired brass that was fired in this rifle with that Hornady factory ammo, loaded up some 77 SMKs with Varget, and I was very happy with what I saw. Here's the initial load workup with that. So we've got, what was funny here is I've only got 1 shot from my 26.5 grain charge. I'll have to admit, it was because I had been shooting up on the ridgeline with the rifle and I hadn't dialed out my dope. I was like, why am I not on the page? Well, okay, so I only got 1 shot from that group. But then I had my 26.7 and my 26.9 grain groups. And check this out, 26.7 went into just under 0.2 inches, and 26.9 went into about 0.3 inches. So this 77 SMK stuff is looking really, really good with Varget. And I had an SD, I think, for 26.9 down around 10 feet per second. So I shot some 5-shot groups, and those actually opened up a little bit, but I just discovered that was because my suppressor had come loose. When am I going to remember to check this every single time? That load, absolutely awesome. Absolutely hammered in the rifle. First, we took it up to the Ridgeline range here at Ultimate Reloader. Did some rock chuck steel targets at 335. I'll show you that. And then moved things out to 660 yards on an IPSC target. I'll show you that. Hammering. This is feeling good, just hammering these targets and center punching them. That gave me the confidence to try Harold the 4-foot tall rock chuck at 1,390 yards, which really, it's all about the conditions. Let me show you how that went. Oh, a little bit more up, more like 1 with 3/4, 7/8 hold. Impact. So after a number of shots, I landed 1 on Harold the 4-foot tall rock chuck at 1,390. And that was because I saw one of my misses about halfway through shooting, and that allowed me to apply an offset, right? If you can't see your misses, you're kind of up a creek, because the misses are going to tell you where to go. Like when we shot 511 yards with a rimfire rifle, had I not been able to see my miss, I moved over to a sandy section where there was a bunch of sandy rock, boom, saw my miss, and then I think it was within 2 shots I was on target at 511, right? That's an ELR distance for 22 LR. So after coming down the hill, I decided to shoot our coyote target at 400 yards out the back door of the Ultimate Reloader cabin. Here's how that went. So the targets that are there at 400 yards, there's kind of a rectangular target, there's a coyote target, and then there's a smaller target, which is pretty small. It's only about that big. And I did 3 shots from one camera angle and then 3 shots from another camera angle. All 6 of those were on target. And that means if there was some sort of rock chuck or coyote at that distance, would have been on target every single time. And you know, that's part of that is about being able to build a position on that picnic table. If I was shooting off of a tripod, definitely would have been a bit more wobbly. Probably still could have hit it a good, number of times. So this rifle is absolutely a shooter. It's heavy, it's low recoiling. It really is the perfect long range trainer. It is a great varminting rifle. And if you're looking for a really fun time with a bolt gun, I think a 22 ARC is a no-brainer, right? And if you're going with Pristine, they have their 445 bolt face that you can buy for their short action just right on the website. You can order it with the action. You can order one separately and swap them out like I did for this story. It is hard to go wrong with 22 ARC. I've been talking with a number of people that have been building bolt guns, and every one of them has absolutely loved it. If you are shooting 22 ARC, I would highly recommend trying these 77 grain Sierra SMK bullets because they absolutely hammered. Whew, this has been a lot of fun. I will make one final note. This rifle did shoot better suppressed than it did unsuppressed. That was another change that I made when I moved over to the 77 grain SMKs. I also tried the 88 ELDM and the 75 ELDM ammo with the suppressor. The 77 SMKs were definitely where it's at. It's always good to find that magic bullet, literally. Okay, so here's what I'd like to know is, are you building a rifle or have you built a rifle on a Pristine action? I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment and I'll meet you down there in the comment section. Also, what do you think about these heavy, long-range 22 ARC bolt guns? Have you been shooting one or do you want to build one? Again, drop a comment and I'll see you there in the comments section. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.